Well, pal, I can't believe we made it out of that last mission in one piece. I can't believe Garth's plan to destroy us, his latest plan, growing a giant Honeycrisp apple, coating it in your molecular bonded shell, and rolling it down the hill to try and crush us? Thankfully, we once again defeated him.
If I never see the Big Apple again, it'll be too soon.
Uh-oh. Looks like a small model train is crossing the road in front of us with a conveniently placed open boxcar in the middle. Well, there's only one thing we can do, pal. Activate miniature mode and hit the turbo boost. Oh, well, that was random. Anyways, Garth's latest scheme sure was strange. He was always ruthless, cunning, and vile. But who knew he was such an expert orchardist?
He does seem to have an uncanny knack in that area.
Agreed. Man, that car behind us sure is tailgating close, aren't they? Hey, I got an idea. Watch this. Ooh, that escalated quickly. Oh well. Anyways, so back to Garth. I was wondering if we could consult with him from prison on growing the perfect apples for Devon's pie making contest next month. You know, Bonnie always wins with her pork and grape jelly pies. I never lost when April was around.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
You're probably right, pal. Hey, look at that over there. Skaters. Looks like they're riding the rails. It looks like they think that's hard. Come on, Kit, let's show them how it's done.
Ski mode is used only in emergency situations.
Oh, come on, where's your sense of humor?
Ski mode is used only in emergency situations. Ski mode is used only. Ski mode is used only in emergency situations.
You do realize that in the entire 4 years we were together, we've only skied 17 times, right? Well, actually, you've skied 17 times, and only with your friend Buzz behind the wheel. Why won't you ski with me, Kit?
Bug off.
You know what? Fine. We're done. Silence. I do wish I could have skied with you, pal, though. All we can do now is take a look back at those amazing times my mostly faithful sidekick got wild on 2 wheels.
And scene.
All right, today we're going to break down all of the ski modes seen in the 4 years the show was on the air. And we're going to break down which cars performed those feats. All right, let's get started. Oh, what's this button do? Auto suck. The first time viewers see ski mode is in the pilot during the Demolition Derby. Michael and his stowaway buddy have entered the Demolition Derby and they're trying to navigate between 2 cars. And when they do, they determine that the best solution is the narrow solution. So Michael puts Kit into auto cruise, Kit activates ski mode. So let's take a look at that frame by frame. So if we look here, this is one of the 4 original cars used to shoot the pilot, and this was the general purpose stunt car. So we can see here we've got the Trans Am. At this point, again, we're still very early in the series, right? First episode. So the interior of this car is a stock Trans Am. We still have the rear view mirror. We've still got the sun visors. We've still got the seatbelt guide trim on the side of the seat, wearing a seatbelt. This is a dummy. This isn't Buddy, in case you can't tell. and we've got the triple fog lights here. And look, when we move over, this guy right here, there's Buzz Bundy driving the car. All right, Buzz was the only one to do the ski modes. So let's continue on. And right here, hits the ramp. You just barely saw the shadow of the ramp there. But we can see on the inside, this is the stock Trans Am dashboard right there. Coming up on its side. And by the way, notice how there's no fans in the stands, even though it's supposed to be jam-packed. So take a look at this. So here's Buzz driving. There's the pull handle that they put on the side of the car so he can use it to propel himself up. Notice how the car no longer has fog lights. Well, they do. They're just covered by these panels that they put in there for some reason. But it is the same car. There we go. At this point in the series, there is no skid plate under this car. So again, this car is pretty much stock. All they did was put the bumper on and get rid of the gold trim at the bottom and all the decals. But look at the way he balances that car, frame by frame. And then we move here and take a look at this. You can't really see too much, but we see it's an 82 Trans Am, obviously. But there's your shifter. Still has the large wheel. It's got power windows, as we can see right there. Moving forward, we've got the... So look at this. In the back of it, there's the roll shade factory from the Trans Am. This is the T-top bag, and look how it's slid all the way down against the bottom of the car because it's on its side. That's what we're looking at there. All right, moving forward. Anything else to show? Yes. So take a look at this. Let's see if we can get a... There we go. There's a good view of the bottom. So we can see the bottom is, again, stock Trans Am, right? So we've got the blue engine because this car was a Van Nuys car. The early 82s were, they painted the engines blue. And you can even see some of the gold trim still here underneath the door right there on the rocker. The only thing that's not stock under this car is they replaced the exhaust with a true dual exhaust, right? So you can see there's one pipe, there's the other pipe, and it goes into a single muffler here, and then two exhausts. That's different than the dual resonator that you would normally have on this car. And you can even see some of the gold on the back bumper that they didn't paint right there. He comes for a landing, and look at the dummy in there. All right, here we are at Slam and Sammy's Stunt Show Spectacular, one of only 2 episodes where we see 2 ski modes. What do you think the other episode is? Well, I guess you'll find out shortly. All right, so let's advance this slowly. This is also that same general purpose stunt car that we saw in the pilot. It looks a little bit different because they've now, they've used it for a few episodes now, so it's a little rougher around the edges, I guess you could say. But if we look here, this is Buzz Bundy once again. And I need to quit pointing that out because it's Buzz Bundy every time. And there's the rod that they attach to the door to provide a counterbalance whenever he's up on his side. So, if you remember in the pilot, the ski mode there was on the passenger side wheels. So here we have the driver's side wheels hopping up there. Yeah, and there's a good look at the interior right there. And Buzz Bundy. So you can see he's got his head turned, providing the counterbalance. Coming back down. And you can still see him right there holding on to that bar. See that bar right there? He's holding on to it. And then immediately he comes over and launches on the passenger side. And this is where it's good. Look at how it knocks the ramp off to its side right there. So we come over here, and now we get a great look at the underside of the car. Same underside we just saw in the Pilot, but you can see already the car is much worse. Look at the dent in the oil pan. The blue of the engine is not as vibrant as it was in the Pilot, because these cars were pretty beaten on. But there's still that same dual exhaust. One thing to point out that it didn't have in the Pilot, but it does have now, are these giant holes in the trunk area. See these two holes? When they filmed the ski mode in the Pilot, that was before they filmed the oil slick gag in the Pilot, also during that same Demolition Derby sequence. These holes are for that oil slick sequence. That's how they dumped the oil out of the back of KITT. So they filmed the Pilot ski mode, then they cut these holes in, filmed the oil slick for the Pilot. And now we're here at Slam & Sammy's and they're skiing, but that's what those holes are for. We'll see those a couple other times. But other than that, the underside of the car looks pretty good. The floor pans aren't bashed in yet. We do see the orange high-performance Koni shocks that they put on these cars. All the cars got those. Still no skid plate yet. But we get a great shot, rare shot of the underside of KITT here. They also welded on this square steel plate right here. I'm not sure what that's for. And plates right here, a plate right there. I wonder if they use that maybe for jacking the car up, although they could just jack it up right there, but don't know. So just a great look at the underside of this car. Other than that, it's factory original. Coming in hot and hitting the brakes. You can see the front wheel immediately stop turning, right, whenever you hit the brakes. Coming in for a landing and hit, and there we go. Holding on to there's the bar right there. Didn't have a seatbelt on. There's probably some kind of a harness in there. There has to be. But you can see here, stock Trans Am dashboard still with the stock Trans Am steering wheel. So here we are in Not a Drop to Drink. Let's take a look here. So this is the first time we actually see the ski mode button, by the way. But this whole footage was filmed in reverse, obviously. So still general purpose stunt car. See the bar in there, still stocks Trans Am dashboards, round steering wheel, still Buzz Bundy, all that stuff. But notice how the car goes down first and then back up. There's your clue. Well, one of your clues that they filmed this in reverse. The other clue is there's absolutely no way that a car could lift up like that on its own, right? But as we see, the underside looks just like it did in Slam & Sammy's. There's still those same two cutouts for the oil slick, still the dual exhaust. Yeah, there's a good look. Still don't have a skid plate. Skid plate's coming. No skid plate on this car yet. Still have the gold trim underneath the rocker panel there. So here he is getting ready to come in right there. So take a look at this. There's the ramp hidden by these bushes, but you can see the ramp there, and it's cockeyed off to the side because of the force of the Trans Am coming up and hitting it. It's sliding off to the side, but you can see it. There it goes back down to the way it was. So let's actually watch this footage in reverse of reverse and actually the way it was filmed.
Now, kid.
Like this, Michael?
Just like this.
Trust doesn't rust. Here we have car performing the ski mode. In reality, it's still the general purpose stunt car. In this scene, car is trying to avoid being shot by a laser from KITT, and he activates ski mode in order to divert the laser from the intended target, which was his scanner, to the side of the car, and it worked. Let's take a look. So you can just barely see car back here. So we've got the hero car right here, but this is the general purpose stunt car in the back. So you can see the lasers coming up, ends up shooting out the headlight, which, by the way, you can see they removed the headlight door to put a special effect charge right there. But what do we see here? We see the sun visor. We still have the sun visor. Now this car has a fake Knight Rider dash. You see it has the general shape of the dash right there. and then we pull back here, and that's car, and you can actually see, if you look really closely, you've got Buzz driving the car right there, because that would be really hard to blind drive a ski stunt, I would think. But unfortunately, that's all we really see of that stunt. A nice and decent little town. Here we have Michael and Kit chasing Ron Austin, the counterfeiter in Alpine Crest. And Kit is in hot pursuit when this station wagon starts backing up. So, you know, can't swerve to the right apparently. So you hit the ski mode, right? So let's take a look here. And obviously, if you look right through the window of this sedan here, you can see the corner of the ramp, right? So there we go. He hits the ramp. There's the bar that he's holding on to. And look, this car, actually we'll get a better look here in a second. There he is going down downtown Covina, California. There we go. So you can see this car now has a skid plate, right? To protect the drivetrain and the radiator, engine, transmission, all that stuff from, getting hit from the underside. We can see all the scrapes under the nose here from previous stunts. We can still see it's got the same dual exhaust, general purpose stunt car. And you can see it still has the same welded on plates here underneath. There's one there, there's one there. And just barely see right here the cutouts for the oil slick way back from the Pilot. All right, so let's continue on. So we get this point of view shot. This is inside Ron Austin's Camaro. And now we see the car, and take a look at this. What do we see here? Vinyl rear seat, right? So this car from the factory had cloth seats. So why is there a vinyl seat in here if it's the same general purpose stunt car from the Pilot? Well, by this point in the series, they had gotten another car, and that car came from the factory with the tan vinyl seats. So at some point between the time they got that car, which was a few episodes ago, and the time that they filmed this episode, they simply swapped some or all of the seats from one car to the other. So that's what you're seeing here. This is just seats from a different car, but still in that same stunt car. So there we go here. There's a really good look at that dual, the dual exhaust muffler and the setup there, and those holes. Then he comes down slowly and bounces back up, and we can see here we still have the fake Knight Rider dash in there, but other than that, the interior's pretty much the same. There's a fake overhead console as well. And when he comes back and lands and hits the gas, you see this puff of black smoke. And my guess is that has to do with probably the oil got into places it shouldn't have gotten into in the engine when it was on its side, came back down, hit the gas, and it just kind of blew that all out the tailpipe. Chariot of Gold. Michael is chasing Graham Deauville after Graham's plot to steal Kit, brainwash Bonnie, and rob a museum went awry, and Kit's in hot pursuit. Graham's driving the semi-truck, cuts Kit off, so Kit is forced to do a ski mode. Setting the stage, and right here. So take a look at this. So we get a nice point of view shot of them going up on the side. We can see, again, we've got the blank Knight Rider dash here. There he is up on its side. And look at this, you can see all the skid marks from the previous takes. So they did this, looks like they did this a number of times, right? So there we go. And the truck unfortunately comes by and obscures the view a little bit. But we can see this is still the same general purpose stunt car used for all the ski modes up to this point in the series. That will change. You still got your cutouts for the oil slick, dual exhaust, all that stuff. We won't go over that again. There we go. There's the bar right there. You can just see the tip of it. What else do we see here? Pretty much the underside's the same. We do see this car still has its passenger side seatbelt. It still has the overhead console, albeit a fake one. And then we come to the end of the road. There's a good look at Buzz right there. And then he brings the car down right past this semi-truck, hits and comes back up, still clamping onto that bar, and then Kit splits. Merchants of Death features one of only 2 ski modes in the entire season. In this episode, Michael and Kit are being harassed by a couple of bikers and decide to show them really who's boss, and activates the ski mode, causing him to lose control and careen over a bridge. So let's go ahead and analyze this one, shall we? We got Michael pressing the ski mode button, and here's Kit. So for the first time, we are not using the general purpose stunt car from season 1. That car actually no longer exists as of this point in the series. This is a new car. This is one of the train derailment cars. We can actually see it's a 1983 model based on this passenger seat right here. So if we move forward, let's see what else we can deduce. We've got a rear defrost on this car. So early in season 2, whenever they really started using a lot of these train derailment cars, they didn't bother swapping to PMDs, swapping out the rear glass. You know, there's a lot of inconsistencies with these cars because they were pretty much just used for stunts, and then that was it. So we have a 2-toned rear back seat right here. What else can we see? We've got T-tops on this car. There, once again, even though it's blurry, there's the bar that Buzz Bundy's holding on to. Anything else that we see? Seatbelt right there, hanging down. I think this is, yeah, this right here, this white is a helmet. This is Buzz's helmet. So you can see just how far over his head is, because he's trying to make his vision line up with the road whenever the car's on its side. So we come through here, we see a nice front view. Again, this is just a throwaway stunt car. There's nothing special about it. They put the nose on it, the scanner. I don't even think there's a skid plate on it at this point. What else do we see? Yeah, no skid plate, nothing. Just a stock Trans Am underneath. Comes in for a landing. And that's the end of that ski mode. Speed Demons. Michael and Kit enter a motocross race to snuff out a killer. And here we have Michael and Kit on the track. They're coming up to a section where motorbikes would have no problem getting through. But Kit obviously is not wide enough. So I think this might be one of the most practical uses of ski mode, right? If this was a real world situation, this is a legit need to ski mode. All right, so let's see what things are looking like here. Hit the ski mode. This is the hardtop stunt car, the same one introduced way back in middle of season 1. And here we are. You can see the fake strips on there for the T-tops. This is the only time in the entire series this car skis. So what do we see here? We've got the skid plate underneath. We've got the Trans Am dual resonator exhaust. Coming back down. All right, what do we see on the inside here? We've got the large Trans Am steering wheel. I think this was something that Buzz wanted, because this car at this point did not have the steering wheel. It would have had a small stunt wheel. But I think he needs that big steering wheel to be able to properly balance the car. So that's what we're seeing there. And it looks like they took out the fake Knight Rider dash and just has the Trans Am stock dash in there at this point. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can see the vent right there of the stock Trans Am dash. Night of the Drones. In the season 3 premiere, Michael and Kit are being attacked by 2 drone cars with missiles, and Michael activates ski mode to evade the missiles and actually destroy the 2 drone cars. So let's take a look. So here's our first look at the new ski mode button. All right, so we're propped up here. This is another new car for ski mode. This is the T-top stunt car that they get in season 3, the one with the tan A-pillars that we've talked about in some of our other videos. This car will be used throughout the rest of the series. It's one of only few cars that never received the fourth season style rubber front nose that George Barris designed. So even in season 4, when you see a car that still has the season 3 style front bumper with the turn signal indents, that's most likely this car. So we can see it has a Knight Rider dash in here. This is again just a shell. There are no electronics, no gull wing, nothing. We can see that the rear defrost isn't even cut out on this car. And we don't see too much of it. We know it's a Trans Am. All right, so the car's coming back down. What do we see here? We got the PMDs, we got the T-tops, we got a solid rear seat, we've got the roll here, the roll shade, and you can just barely see the post. Well, there's the post right there that I like to point out in each one here. Notice how they're not showing the underside of the car as much anymore. They're starting in pretty much in season 2, they try and start masking the underside of KITT so it kind of adds to the illusion of the car. But we do see the underside again in future episodes, but it's not nearly as prominent as it was in season 1. The Rotten Apples. Michael and KITT are being chased by 2 Bigfoot style trucks, and he uses ski mode to evade them, and of course they naturally crash into each other and explode. Right? So let's just take a look here. Once again, just like in Night of the Drones, this is the T-top stunt car, the one with the tan A-pillars. However, this initial scene here where we see the car going up on its side, this is actually footage from a different angle from the ski mode that they did back in season 2's Merchants of Death. You can even see the 1983 style seat right there. And there's a good look at that bar. Notice how it's not connected at the top here. There's nothing connecting it to the T-top. It's just a bar that's bolted in down below. But see here, we go up here and we can see here, we've got the fog light grills. That's one of the giveaways that it's from season 2. And see, then we see this close-up shot, and this is also from Merchants of Death. And it makes you wonder why they did this when they actually really did do a ski stunt, right? Right here. I mean, this is a real ski stunt. So when you see these far away shots, this is that T-top stunt car with the tan A-pillar trim. But for some reason, the close-ups, they didn't use that. Not much really to report here. You can't unfortunately see too many details. And then when it cuts back, the car had already landed. So, not the greatest ski mode, but it is a ski mode nonetheless. Junkyard Dog. After KITT is destroyed in an acid pit and rebuilt, he's tested on the test track first by driving by himself, and we see one ski mode there, but then we see a second ski mode a little bit later when he's refined and Michael skis him. So let's take a look at both of those, shall we? Only Slam and Sammy Stunt Show Spectacular and Junkyard Dog have more than one ski mode in it. All right, so the car you're looking at here is actually the left-hand blind drive car up on its side, and we can see the bar here. And even though it's the left-hand blind drive car, there's still obviously Buzz is in the driver's seat there, and that's kind of why you see it from this angle. And if you look closely, you can kind of see the underside. We see dual resonator exhaust. We know that that's Trans Am only. But other than that, there's no skid plate. There's nothing else underneath the car. And Buzz really does an excellent job at making KITT kind of look out of control there, doesn't he? All right, and then after KITT's refined, we get a second ski mode. Let's take a look at it. So now this is not the left-hand blind drive car. This is actually the T-top stunt car, the same one we saw in Night of the Drones and Rotten Apples with the A-tan pillar being skied once again. And what do we see here? We don't see too much, right? But we do see that this car has the roll shade. It's got the trunk door, the cargo door here. It's folded back, right? But there's your bar at the top. There's a front view. And we can see this car has a big skid plate underneath, right? And actually, that's not even a skid plate. That's just a covering they put underneath some of these cars. If you think back to Night of the Drones, when we see the destroyed kit on his side, we see a covering similar to this. So this is less for skid plate protection and more for hiding the underside of the car. And you'll notice here, by the way, even though I still call this the car with the tan A-pillars, those are pretty much gone at this point. They've been replaced, but this is that same car. So now we see this view from behind. What do we see here? Nothing special. We do see the car has the deluxe trim, the carpeted panels here. This is a nice long ski mode. And then coming down, got the fake Knight Rider dash in there. And a landing. Night in Disgrace. Michael is suspended from the foundation, and Chuck Wallyburden takes the wheel of kit. We do see a ski mode in this episode, right? Right here, hit the button. Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. Haven't we seen this before? That's right. This is recycled footage of the ski mode from Chariot of Gold from Season 1. This is the only time that they recycle ski mode footage. So we're not going to go over the details, but I like his nonchalant, it doesn't even affect him when the car comes plummeting back to the earth. He's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm cool. 10-wheel trouble. Michael is chasing after a trucker who is trying to run him off the road. Michael activates the ski mode in order to get that extra room he needs to pass him. Once again, this is that same T-top stunt car that formerly had the tan A-pillars performing the stunt. Unfortunately, most of it is kind of blurry here, so you don't see too much, but we do see the skid plate underneath. There's a good look at the back of the car. Look at all the screws along the top of the blackout there. We do see it's a Trans Am. It's got the dual resonator exhaust there. Come back in for a landing. Circus Nights. Michael enters a circus. Why not? And decides to impress them with coming in and introducing himself via ski mode. So let's take a look. So this is cool. We get a point of view shot, right, of going up on the ski mode. And look down here in this corner. You can just barely see the tachometer of this car. So what can we tell by this tachometer, this tiny piece? You can actually tell a couple things, right? One, see that orange needle? We can tell that this is not a 1982 Trans Am. Orange needle tells us that this is a 1983 or 84 Trans Am. We can also see that the indicator of 30 is at the top of this tachometer. That tells us that this is an LG4 car, not an L69 car, the high output car. The high output car, the tachometer actually went up to 8,000. This one only goes up to 6,000. On those tachometers, that top number is 40, not 30. So amazing, see the things you can discover just by stopping and taking a look. So you can also see the RPMs it takes to ski, right? Just a little under 3,000, right? All right, so then we're coming in. This is still the T-top stunt car, the one with the A tan pillars. Now, if you look here, you'll see those A pillars are tan once again. And that's because Circus Nights, even though it was the season finale in terms of how it aired, this episode actually was filmed a lot earlier in season 3. So that's what you're looking at right there. And this is filmed, by the way, on the Universal Studios backlot, Barham parking lot. This might actually be the slowest ski mode too. I mean, he's going really, really slow. So you got the round wheel there, is that a buckle maybe right there? Hard to tell. And the fake Knight Rider dash. This is Jack Gill, by the way, right here. And finally, season 4 featured one and only one ski mode, and it wasn't towards nearly the end of season 4, Deadly Nightshade, where Michael and Kit are chasing the hearse, and 2 cars come around the corner, and he has to navigate that. Why he doesn't turbo boost, I don't know. Piece of cake, he says. Hits the button. So once again, the launch is reused footage from Merchants of Death. There's the 83 seat, and this is actually the exact angle that scene was from. So we see the launch up there, and then it cuts to the actual ski mode from this episode. This is, once again, and for one last time, the same tan A-pillared T-top stunt car. Trans Am, skid plate. There's the bar right there. Almost looks like, see, there's 4 dots on that mirror. I wonder what that's about. But this is rare because we actually see the underside of this car, right? They had pretty much given up showing the underside of the car, but they do show it here. So we get a great look at that skid plate. And dropping down. And remember, by season 4, like I was saying, see how this car still has the season 2 or 3 style front nose. This is, I think, one of only 2 cars for season 4 that still had that nose. The rest of them got upgraded with the rubber nose. All right, so here are the final results. The general purpose season 1 stunt car performed 6 ski modes. The season 2 train wreck stunt car, only 1. The hardtop stunt car, seen throughout all 4 seasons of the show, only that one tied the general purpose stunt car at 6 skis as well. And finally, the left-hand blind drive car had only 1 ski mode. And sorry, domino skiing from Team Knight Rider doesn't count for this video. All right, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. What does that auto suck button do again?
And now, while we listen to Joe's selection of Knight Rider music that we received directly from Don Peak himself, we'd like to thank these Patreon supporters. Look at you guys scrolling up the screen to my right. Wait a minute, how can you tell which side is my right since you can't see me because I'm not on camera? Oh well, you know what I mean. We're featuring these fine supporters at our Knight Rider Prop Restorer level. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you at the Knight Rider History Hunter level, we're recognizing you right now in the description. Now, if you enjoyed seeing this golden nugget of Knight Rider history being rescued from obscurity, then please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your support would empower us to bring you even more of these historical nuggets. We are the Knight Rider Historians. Till next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.